Hello and welcome to another episode of Fish and Hunt with Luke. Today we're taking a little break, going outside and looking at my generator setup on my truck. So here to the left of me is I have a 1-ton Dodge D350 with a Bigfoot truck camper on it. And I decided that I needed to have an external generator, so not one that was built into the camper. The reason I decided to do this was because I wanted to get a larger generator that could run my AC unit, my microwave, and any other accessories I have in the camper without any problem at all. And I wanted it away from the camper so I would have less noise. So what did I go with? I went with a Champion generator. Now this is a Champion 4,000 watt, 3,500 running watt. As you can see on the film here, Champion electric start and critical point remote start. Why did I go with a remote start generator, you might ask, and how does it work? Well, it allows you to turn this generator on and off from inside the camper. So when it's cold out, and I'll camp throughout the whole winter. I don't even winterize my camper. I'm constantly hunting and fishing throughout the winter, so I don't even worry about it. What I do is I do not want to have to get out in my skivvies and go outside and turn on this generator by hand. So as you can see on the control panel, I have an ignition switch so I can manually push the button and turn it on. If I choose to use the remote, I have to have the battery to the on position in order to start the generator from in the camper. And then I have convenient 30 amp plugs so I don't have to have an adapter when I plug in my camper extension cord to the generator itself. And it does have an external battery, as you can see here, and that allows you to, it's a starting battery, so you don't have to pull start this generator. And as you can see, the way I've mounted this generator is I have a receiver hitch and a cargo rack. And the cargo rack, I believe, is rated for about 300 to 500 pounds. My recommendation is do not overload these cargo racks. So just put on the minimum amount of weight that's required for what you do. And this generator right here is not light. It's weighing in at probably 120 to 150 pounds. So when I'm on the field and I need to refuel my generator or my boat, I use a jerry can. The reason is because I get a nice strong seal on the lid, and it's a pretty durable can, so I don't have to worry about those cheesy plastic jugs either breaking or expanding when I go in high elevation mountain lakes and things like that. So for this, I'm using just a standard 5-liter military can. So living in Washington State, there is a 3-foot law, so you cannot have anything extend beyond 3 feet from the front of the truck, and this is exactly 3 feet. So, and then I'd like to talk about the tarp that I use to cover all of my equipment. And this is a really heavy duty tarp. As you can see here, it's thick. I can drive with the tarp over this and go ahead and bungee it down as well. So that is a really nice thing to have if you have a front mounted generator. Now that we've discussed how I mounted my generator on the front of my truck, I would like to fill in a few key points that you may have questions on still. First of all, how do you secure the tarp to the generator when you're going down the highway? I like to use heavy duty rubber bungees. You can buy these at any hardware store. They usually have metal ends and then just a thick strip of rubber. That's what I use to secure the tarp while traveling. Secondly, how did I mount the generator to the cargo basket? I chose to hard mount it with U-bolts. So I used regular old U-bolts you get at the hardware store, and I bolted the frame of the generator down to the cargo basket, and you might be able to see that in the earlier parts of this video. The other key point I want to talk about is the width of the cargo basket itself. It has to make sure you get the dimensions right, because the inside dimensions of the cargo basket have to seat the generator inside. I actually bought the wrong cargo basket. It wasn't the right size to fit my generator, and so I had to essentially send that one back and get another cargo basket that would support that, the size of that generator frame. So just keep that in mind. You'll want to measure this generator before you do that. So, and then in the earlier on in this episode, I talked about the generator just being remote start and electric start. It actually has a recoil start on it as well. So I wanted to provide you that information. If you have any questions on the fuel capacity, well, the fuel capacity is right around 4 gallons. I think it's rated at 3.8, so you can fill up 3.8 gallons. And under a load, you're probably going to get about 8 hours to 9 hours of runtime. So it is kind of a gas hog when you're under a load. But for the most part, what I do is if I'm running my AC unit, I'm probably or microwave, it's probably gonna be pretty intermittent. So I'm essentially only going to run it for short periods of time, and I will usually get in the ballpark of a full day or more out of a tank of fuel. So I don't have to constantly refuel this generator. It's nice that it has a nice big fuel tank on it. So, and my recommendation is to go with the 92 octane unleaded fuel. So you do not need to pre-mix the oil and the fuel together. This is just strictly an unleaded generator. It runs on unleaded fuel. So, and again, this is all personal preference on where you want to mount your generator, but this has worked really well for me. And I talked earlier about the sound factor, and you might ask yourself, well, geez, that's a huge generator. It's going to create an enormous amount of sound. Well, you know, if you live in California or something like that, you might have to worry about that. But where I'm at, here in Washington State, most of the places I camp are off the grid. So there's not really going to be a lot of people complaining about my generator making too much noise. It's relatively quiet. It is not as quiet as a Honda 2000 generator, those little suitcase generators. So it's going to be a little bit louder than that, but in my opinion, it's hard to even notice the difference. I've owned both, so I do know. And again, if you have any questions on generator selection, on where to mount your generator, put it in the comment box and I'll see what I can do to answer any questions. I appreciate you watching this video, and please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.